Wheat Ridge Channel 8, keeping you informed on events in your community.
Council meeting of January 25th, 2010. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The city clerk, please take roll.
Karen Berry. Karen Adams.
Here.
Tracy Langworthy.
Here.
Mike Stites.
Here.
Davis Reinhardt.
Here.
Joyce J.
Here.
Joe DeMott.
Here.
And Wanda Sang.
Here.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of January 11th, 2010?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion for approval, second by Councilmember Stites. I believe we need one abstention. Changes? Please poll the council.
Motion carries 7-0 with Councilmember Sang abstaining.
Thank you. We have one proclamation tonight. Chief Brennan.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'd like to call Brad Rupert from the Arvada Community Food Bank, Charlie Alt from the Optimist Club, Tom Ripp from Enterprise Wheat Ridge, and Matthew Cromer, the principal at Pennington Elementary, up if I could, please. And I don't believe we have anybody here from the Wheat Ridge Rotary Club. If I could indulge Council for just a minute, I want to talk to you about the Feeding the Future Backpack Program. The Feeding the Future Backpack Program provides an essential school supply to children at 5 Arvada elementary schools. It provides food. Each Friday, children take home backpacks filled with food to eat when the safety net of the free and reduced lunch program is not available. The Arvada Community Food Bank provides 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, 2 snacks, powdered milk, fruits, and vegetables. In addition to the food, they also provide informational topics on nutrition, physical activity, community resources, and disease prevention resources. The Arvada Community Food Bank approached me in November of last year to champion providing a backpack food program at Pennington Elementary School. Pennington falls within their articulation area for their outreach for food. Pennington's one of 4 schools that we have in Wheat Ridge that's a Title I school, and research has shown that those students that are not receiving their nutritional needs at home aren't good students. The students or their family apply for the program. School staff plays an important role in identifying students who are in need. The program costs approximately $2.50 to $3 per student per week for about 40 weeks for the program. We initially anticipated, when we had our first discussions on this program, of having somewhere about in the vicinity of about 35 students at Pennington. When we began the program, when the kids came back from school in January, we already had 52 students in the program, and we really think that we'll probably hit a target number of about 70, 80 students. I began in December of this year community outreach to our service clubs and to our businesses to try to get the financial support for this program at Pennington. To date, as a result of contributions made by Wheat Ridge Rotary Club, the Wheat Ridge Optimist Club, and Enterprise Wheat Ridge, we've already brought in about $4,500. We figure we'll probably need somewhere between $7,000 and $8,000 alone for just Pennington, so I still have some more work to do. But I wanted to take the opportunity tonight to recognize some of these individuals in our community that have stepped forward and provided the financial support and also the volunteer support to meet every Thursday to go to the Arvada Community Food Bank, get the food, bring it back to the school, and distribute that to all those students in need. So if Council will allow me to recognize a few individuals here. Brad Rupert, who is the director of the Arvada Community Food Bank. I'd like to present you with this certificate. And on behalf of Enterprise Wheat Ridge, Tom Ripp. And on behalf of the Optimist Club, the Wheat Ridge Optimist Club, Charlie Alt. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And I have a certificate here as well for Matt Cromer, who's the principal at Pennington and who had the vision and provided all of the support to begin the program there. And then if you all have any words that you want to give?
Do you mind if I take a moment? I'd like to present the chief with something that students made. I'm sorry, folks. Just wanted to take a moment and say thank you to the chief. He said that he mentioned that I spearheaded. I did not. The chief spearheaded everything, and I am so thankful to the chief for all of his time and effort to get this working. And Chief, we'd like to present you with something special from our kids. There's a number of cards in here and a little story that goes along with it, and they want to let you know that they love you, and we really do appreciate you very much, so thank you. Thank you. If I could just take a moment and recognize Rosemary Nichols. She's here. She is our parent coordinator, and she is the person who has the responsibility of every Thursday contacting volunteers to come to Pennington to fill the sacks. And last week it was the police department. This week it will be the Optimist Club or the Rotarians. We'll have the Arvada Fire Department, and we welcome anybody from the city of Wheat Ridge to come on Thursday morning at about 8:30 to help us pack all those bags. So thanks very much, Rosemary.
My name is Brad Rupert, and I have the honor of chairing the board of directors for the Arvada Community Food Bank. All of the schools and the program within the food bank is run by volunteers, not paid staff, and it really is a heroic effort by the volunteers. We now, with the addition of Pennington, service 8 schools, and we are nearing serving 1,000 children each week through the backpack program. The backpack program is only one of 4 major programs that the food bank provides, and our service area, though it's the Arvada Community Food Bank, it actually starts with 38th Avenue. We cover the territory from 38th Avenue north and from Sheridan west to the foothills. So we cover a goodly portion of the city of Wheat Ridge, and we're really pleased by the outpouring of support to help serve the children of Pennington. So we want to thank you very much. I also want to let you know that I will be delivering a stack of thank you notes from the children at Pennington, which is absolutely charming. So thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Charlie Alt, and I'm here representing the Wheat Ridge Optimist Club, and I would just like to say that we are strongly supportive of this effort and will continue to do everything that we possibly can to support it in the future because it's a great, great program. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Tom Ripp, and I am a board member of Enterprise Wheat Ridge. Let me just say that as a civic organization, we've had a lot of speakers over the years. We've never had anyone come in and cause, I think, such an emotional reaction as as Chief Brennan's presentation. It was. That's your next career. So we were just absolutely thrilled to have him come and make the presentation, and we can't think of a more worthwhile cause. We're more of a commercial organization, but this is helping the community years down the road. So, Chief, we really thank you for that. And then I've been asked to also just thank staff for the support that they gave in our Passport Wheat Ridge program. That was, we think, a good start, and that we're going to continue to try to engender commercial activity here in the city. So thanks so much. We appreciate it, Patrick and Randy, for all the help you gave us.
Thank you. Citizens' right to speak is reserved for members of the public who wish to speak on any item not on the agenda. Speakers are allowed 3 minutes. Others may donate their time to the speaker at the podium for a total of 9 minutes. When you are speaking at the podium, you will see a green light when you start speaking, a yellow light when you have 30 seconds left, and a red light when your time is up. So please step forward to the podium if you're here to speak on any item not on the agenda, and spell your last name, and please state your city and or your address. Actually give the materials to the clerk and he'll pass them down.
Should be enough for the rest of them.
My name is Kyle Walpole. I am from Evergreen, Colorado.
Please spell your last name for the record.
W-A-L, P as in Paul, O-L-E.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council members are in receipt of my email correspondence, and Mr. Reinhardt has viewed my resume and accompanying state and federal credentials. Your police department, authorized by Chief Brennan, accepted at face value without any concomitant evidence the outrageous allegations of Michelle Wallen, a woman with a criminal conviction for fraud, now expunged, and serious mental health issues, and someone who knew precisely how to manipulate eager-to-seek recognition detectives. The department ignored clear exculpatory evidence, including a handwritten letter containing an admission of making up allegations and citing pressure from her family to do so, which is now in your possession and was provided to the police department the week following my detention, and pursued a costly and unnecessary investigation for nearly a year that placed my reputation in jeopardy and produced consequences which I live with to this day. Members of your police department damaged my property during the SWAT raid, confiscated the tools necessary for me to continue my photography business, caused me to be terminated from my middle school teaching position, necessitated costly legal fees, produced unnecessary stress on my family, and placed my work with the federal government on hold for over a year. From the outset, Wheat Ridge police detectives demonstrated clear confirmation bias, disregarding, ignoring, and obfuscating clearly inconsistent and exculpatory evidence. It is also apparent that they may have fabricated statements in order to provide justification for extending the investigation. Your records department refuses to release materials that would easily clear this up. Michelle Wallen was not charged with false reporting despite the confession, and civil action was impossible due to the 1-year statute of limitations on slander and libel. A recent internal affairs investigation alludes to my concealment of evidence despite a surprise raid and search of my home and examination of every photograph I have ever taken or been in possession of. The chief has stated that the internal affairs investigation indicates that his department acted appropriately and no further explanation is necessary. There are many questions that remain unanswered. I am curious, given the allegation of hiding evidence, how police neglected to find a supposedly hidden camera bag which was located in open view within my home, and how records apparently indicate that I provided statements to it and to additional materials hidden at an undisclosed location. From the outset, I invoked my right to remain silent and answered no questions. I do not have to remind any of you that a police officer's fabrication of a suspect statement is not only unconscionable, but criminal. Not surprisingly, detective notes now do not exist, nor does the confession letter apparently exist in police records. With a stellar record of scholarship and a 4.0 grade point average, including a graduate degree, state police officer certification, and federal licensing, service to my country at the highest levels, a federal commendation for service in Central Asian operations, photographic awards of excellence, and an outstanding teaching record, I have a responsibility to make the public aware that the police department of Wheat Ridge may not be above incompetence, negligence, and quite possibly serious criminal misconduct. Colorado police officers swear an oath to discharge their duties with integrity and to act justly and impartially. Disregarding evidence that leads to the destruction of one's career, reputation, and small business without any accountability whatsoever is contrary to that oath, contrary to the stated core values of the Wheat Ridge Police Department, and contrary to common sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen Gillespie, Gillespie, Wheat Ridge Fire Department, 3830 Upham Street. Waiting for the green light. There it goes. Honorable Mayor, honorable members of the council, thank you for having me here before you today and our distinguished guests in attendance. I just want to give you some updates of some going-ons in the Wheat Ridge Fire Protection District. One of those would be, excuse me, the district's Board of Directors' actions on January 20th, 2010. At the district board meeting, the district board of directors adopted a resolution to conduct a special election on Tuesday, May 4th, 2010, for the purpose of filling vacancies of 3 seats that are up for re-election. Also within that resolution was a motion to conduct a special ballot under Tabor to increase our mill levy assessment for the monies we collect to support our operations. At this time, Mayor Tutulio has endorsed and supported our efforts to go to our constituents and ask for their support, and he is working with our election committee to do so also. I would ask that everybody in attendance or viewing at home this evening go to our website at www.wrfire.org for additional information under the main banner section or under the Board of Directors tab, or contact the fire district directly because we'll be available to answer any questions on this. And I would ask that the rest of the council consider this endeavor for us to provide quick responses, highly trained firefighters, and innovative safety programs, especially focusing on the school children for public safety and public education, as necessary to the vitalness of the community safety and our economic redevelopment efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else to speak under public comment tonight before we move on? Seeing none, we'll move to approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda tonight? Item 1, the consent agenda. Councilmember Langworthy.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 1A. Item 1A, Resolution 07-2010, amending the fiscal year 2010 general fund budget to reflect the approval of a supplemental budget appropriation in the amount of $22,552 for the acceptance of a tree grant from Jefferson County for the purpose of planting trees in developed parks. 1B, a motion to encumber funds for the 2010 swimming pool chemical purchases in an amount not to exceed $58,800. Motion 1C, motion to approve payment to Code Consultants International in the amount of $18,930 from account number 01-122-700-704 for December 2009 contract building inspections. Is a motion in order?
Motion's in order.
I move to approve item 1A, B, and C.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda, seconded by Councilmember Stites. Discussion on the motion. Please poll the council. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is public hearings and ordinances on second reading. Item 2 is Council Bill 30-2009. Councilmember Sang.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council Bill number 30-2009, an ordinance concerning pawnbroker record keeping and record submission requirements and making conforming amendments to Article 7 of Chapter 11 of the Code of Laws. 15 years ago, the city's current pawn shop regulations were adopted, requiring pawnbrokers to submit to the police department a handwritten, completed paper form with right index fingerprint of all customers completing a pawn transaction in the city. Due to advances in technology, pawnbrokers should be required to submit electronic files and provide identifiable video to the police department of all property and persons who complete pawn transactions in the city.
Currently, we're in the public hearing right now, so please step forward if you'd like to make any comments on this issue. Please state your name and spell your last name for the record, your city and or your address.
Yes, my name is Steve Bullard, B-U-L-L-A-R-D.
Thank you.
I live in Denver, Colorado. Thank you, Mayor and City Council. I'm an area manager with Easy Pawn. I just wanted to express our company's support of the changes to the pawn ordinance. I also want to express my thanks to Chief Brennan and Commander Lorenz for their cooperation and willingness to work with us on these changes. It shows how local businesses and authorities can improve relations by working together in a timely manner. We just want to say thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment? Move on to council questions and discussion.
I just want to remind the council, I do need to assign an ordinance number. This was not done at the original
Please
opening
assign
of
the
the public
ordinance
hearing.
number.
So if we can do that, Council Bill 30-2009 will be assigned ordinance number 1447.
Now, do we have any council questions or discussion before I close the public hearing? Councilmember Stites?
I'd just like to compliment the chief and the pawnbrokers on working this out. I think was a fantastic thing once things work out good, and we got the input that we needed. The chief did a great job on the ordinance, so thank you both for working together.
Want to close the public hearing and a motion's in order?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve Council Bill number 30-2009, an ordinance concerning pawnbroker record keeping and record submissions requirements and making conforming amendments to Article 7 of Chapter 11 of the Code of Laws.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion for approval, seconded by Councilmember Langworthy. Discussion on the main motion. Please poll the council.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is decisions, resolutions, and motions. Item 3, Councilmember Reinhardt.
Yes, in accordance with the rules and order and procedures, city council rules are to be reviewed by council within 3 months of an election. Mayor Pro Tem, myself, and Councilman Berry reviewed the rules and made proposed changes. Those changes were brought to city council on January 11th, and modified proposal is on the table for our approval, having with 2 of the 3 original proposed discussion points as changes to the council rules. Motion in order. Yeah, I move to approve the proposed rule changes and the procedure as amended in the attached document.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion for approval as stated in the packet, seconded by Councilmember Sang. Discussion? Please poll the council.
Motion carries 8-0.
Well, thank you. That concludes our agenda for tonight. We'll move on to city managers' matters.
I have nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
City attorneys' matters.
Not tonight. Thanks.
City clerks' matters.
Yes, actually, I wanted to just make a request. In light of the Supreme Court decision on the Citizens United case recently, which affects, has a major impact actually on some of the regulations in state and perhaps our city law around elections and contributions, that sort of thing. I was going to ask for the city attorney if he might prepare just enough information for the community and for the clerk's office so we know how to treat some of the existing laws going forward and know how that Supreme Court decision is going to affect that.
And I'm happy to do that. Michael and I spoke, pardon me, for the meeting. Our election code and our code of laws largely just adopts the state statutes. Doesn't really have contribution limitations. It has some contribution reporting requirements. So my initial take is it's probably not going to affect our code at all because we don't have upper limits on contributions. And if corporations, under the Supreme Court's decision, can now make contributions and spend money, and that's fine. To the extent that that's going to affect the state statutes that we incorporate by reference, a couple of things. I expect that the legislature will likely act to make the changes it feels are necessary. The Republican Party, as you probably read in the paper, has brought a suit to challenge Amendment 54 on the basis of this decision. So, the point being made, I think there'll be a fair amount of state-level activity, whether it be in court or at the legislature, that will give us a fairly clear path in terms of what states and local governments like the city need to do to implement that statute. It's not going to take a lot of time. I'm happy to work with the city clerk and put together a little memo that is useful to him and also explains for the council what the impacts of that decision will be.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep.
Thanks.
Councilmember Berry. Councilmember Sang.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just would like to thank the mayor for bringing the information forward that he worked hard on to get for the decision that was going forward at Dr. Cog on the highway, and that enabled me to make an informed decision, which I don't think I had enough information to do so otherwise. Thank you.
Councilmember Stites?
Oh, yeah. I've been thinking a lot. And even though times are tough right now and the economy's down, I think there could be a positive side and a bright side to that. And I have been doing a lot of thinking that, for instance, if you live in Wheat Ridge and own a business outside of Wheat Ridge, now would possibly be a great time to relocate your business back into Wheat Ridge. Or if you don't live here and you have a business somewhere, it would be a great time to relocate to Wheat Ridge, because I think we have some bargains out there, and I think we can do that. So if you're thinking about it, or even thinking about starting a business, possibly might be a good time to do it. You know, you might check with the city, the Economic Development Department, and they can probably help you out. But it's just a thought that I had. Second thing is always, please try to do a positive thing for your family, your community. The greatest thing I learned instead of no was the other word, which is yes. And it's a great thing, a great word to know. And as always, please try to find it and buy it in Wheat Ridge. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Reinhardt?
Two things. One, towards just a 2-second update on the council study session for the policy study session that we hope to have. Since we did decide essentially to wait until after we'd had more feedback on the budget oversight committee, I didn't see a special urgency to it, to moving forward, but we did meet on it and are going down the path towards how we would set an agenda and a timing for that meeting. So I hope to bring forward more information over the next couple of weeks. The second one was I was queried as to how it was that council took an action with respect to Dr. Cog in a study session. And so for clarity for the record, it was within the discretion of the vote at COG was in the discretion of our representative there, and we were providing a consensus opinion to that representative on how we might vote, but it was within her discretion without any action by council to make that vote. So if there was questions on that, that's all I had.
Thank you. Councilmember Adams?
I have nothing, thank you.
Councilmember DeMott?
Nothing, thank you.
Councilmember Langworthy?
Thank you. I would just, as a fellow optimist, I'd like to thank Chief Brennan for helping Pennington with the backpack program. And the optimists were very enthusiastic about attending a basketball game to help provide money for that. I unfortunately couldn't go, so I just kind of helped by giving some money. But it's a good program to make sure our kids aren't hungry, because there's no worse feeling in the world to have an empty stomach, and it's hard for little kids to understand that. So it is a great program, and I greatly appreciate your dedication to that.
Councilmember Jay?
Only that as a member of the Budget Oversight Committee, we did meet, and we will be looking for ways to keep our budget balanced, both hopefully adding some and of course looking in every corner and every cobweb to try to find some more funds. And I want to add something to what Mike Stites always said, because I read something interesting, that every time you buy in your community, 40% of it comes back to the community. I thought that was pretty interesting. Thanks.
Thank you. I just wanted to update the council on a couple of things. On January 12th, the Building Code Task Force met, and I wanted to pass out, this is the recommendations from the committee. There's 4 copies plus for the clerk, and then I'll do 4 more here. This is actually the recommendations from the task force. I think 2 weeks ago I gave you a packet that was the initial information from Steve Thomas, the consultant, and he had some recommendations. This is actually from the task force. The items are bolded if they're the item, and then the recommendation from the task force is underlined. We met on the 12th. We were going to have a couple of meetings, but we actually ended up having one meeting for 6 hours from 4 to 10 and just got it done. So I wanted to thank a few of the board or the committee members. We had Dean Goki, contractor and former Wheat Ridge council member, Lou Fico, a Wheat Ridge builder and property owner, Davis Reinhardt, our council member from District 1, We have Ted Terranova from ARC Heating and Air Conditioning in Arvada, and he's a former Arvada City Council member. Steve Thomas from Code Consulting. Kelly Brooks, our fire marshal from Wheat Ridge. John Marriott, the Wheat Ridge Business District and Wheat Ridge business owner. Sparky Shriver, our fire marshal from Arvada. And we have staff support. We had Randy Young and Ken Johnstone. So we did get it done. This will be on the study session for you to consider on March 1st. And the recommendation would be probably we'll go through this, we'll go through it through a PowerPoint presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to call us now. There's a lot of information here, but it's good information. Two things I wanted to let you know about is Steve Thomas actually devised for lack of a better word, it's a chart that determines how many ADA bathrooms you need based on the size of the business and employees. The original code said an ADA, 15 people, and that triggered a male-female bathroom. This actually has a chart that they're looking at using statewide. We would be the first one to actually implement it. But for an example, Big Sky Expresso had to put in the male-female bathroom at a population of 15 or more. This actually, the way this is laid out by Steve Thomas, would be 75 people or more. So it does help anybody that's redeveloping current structures within the city. That's just one example. The other thing, which is really neat, is that, as you know, there was some ventilation issues in one of our businesses based on the 2003 IBC, and this actually recommends adopting the 2009 IBC for ventilation requirements only. And that would actually, the requirements are less restrictive on businesses, but they still follow the safety guidelines. So that's another good one that came out of here, is adopting 2009 just for the ventilation criteria. So please read it and give me a call if you have any questions, or Councilmember Reinhardt, or anybody, because there's a lot of information here, but like I said, it's going to be really a fun thing to work on because it's really positive. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we had the Wadsworth Summit here on January 13th. I wanted to thank staff for the presentation. We had about 30 property owners, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have to remember that one person is representing multiple properties. So we had a good turnout, discussed the mixed-use zone district. A lot of property owners were here. And I believe the next Dog and Pony show for the mixed-use zone district, for lack of a better word, is the Northwest area, which is tomorrow night in District 4, that area. So I believe that's here. I can't remember. Randy, did you have the date and time for that, for the Northwest area? You should have got a card in the mail about it tomorrow night.
The Recreation Center.
Recreation Center, thank you. So tomorrow night, the Recreation Center will be doing the Northwest area. So with that, any other comments or questions from council? I guess we're adjourned.
Wheat Ridge Channel 8, keeping you informed on events in your community.